All right, so I know I showed you guys a little bit of the finished trunk in the intro to part one. This will be part three. Like I said, I went in and cut the videos down because it had been like 4 of them, about 25, 30 minutes long, which wasn't cutting it for me, so I decided to cut it down, take just bits and pieces out of the videos and make a shorter video. So I'll show you guys the rear, or the trunk enclosure. I know it might be a little tough to pick up on camera with it being all black in here, and there's light, but I don't think there's enough light. Got a little flashlight you can see, but yeah, I'll show you guys the trunk, and then I'll go over the plans for the rest of the year with the cars and what I want to do versus what might happen. But yeah, let me show you guys the trunk enclosure, then I'll go over the materials I used, about what I'm into it for, and let you guys know how everything's going. But yeah, let me know if it's I know it's gonna be a little tough to see, but it came out nicely. I'm happy with it. Like I said, these side panels there, it's a nice snug fit. Yeah, so they're not coming out easily. I'm still debating if I want to do this back part or not. Kind of leaning towards doing it. I was talking to my neighbor. He's like, just leave it. It doesn't look that bad. Or it looks good without it. But I just want to add them in there to lock those side panels into place for the most part. So once those are locked in, this front's locked in with the side pieces, and everything will hold everything in. And if I do this back piece, I still have to add the Velcro and stuff to all the braces. So if I do this back piece, I'll probably just add a Velcro strap on each side of here, and that'll pretty much sit into place. So that'll be a later video when I do that. But yeah, they'll get it. But yeah, it looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Like I said, I probably should have ordered the material that was rolled and not folded, but I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, it's just a trunk, nice and simple. But yeah, so all in all, I'm about right around $200 plus tax for the whole trunk enclosure. So that's including the cardboard boxes, the wood I use for the platform, the 4x8 sheet, the 4 packages of the trunk liner material, and the 3 cans of aerosol spray I had to purchase. So I think the 4x8 sheet of the plywood was $65. The four packages of trunk liner fabric, sorted those off Amazon. They were about $20 a piece. The adhesive spray, so I used the Super 77 and the Super 90. They didn't have any of the 77 the first time I went up there, but when I went back to get the other one, they had the 77, and then I just found another can inside the house, so I really only needed to buy 2. So that's the 4x8 sheet, the trunk liner fabric, the adhesive, and then the little strips that I used to make the platform for the false floor. I got those off the scrap wood pile. They were like 70% off, so those were only a couple bucks. And then the cardboard boxes, I think I used 4 of them. They're about $2 a piece. So at first, I just used regular cardboard boxes, the thinner ones, and they helped to get the shape for it. And then when I went back to transfer it again, I actually used the medium duty. I don't think heavy duty, just medium duty cardboard boxes, so they're a little bit stiffer, so they don't bend as much. So if you slide into place, it doesn't have a bow or anything to it. So that's what I use. So all in all, I'd call it 200 bucks plus tax for everything. And like for 200 bucks to transform the whole trunk, you really can't beat it. It looks good. Like say you pop the trunks, it's gonna be like, oh, it's a clean look. Like I said, all those are tucked in there. That's tucked in there. The back's pretty much flush with this back piece right here, so we're all good to go. But that's it on the trunk enclosure. Let me know what you guys think. If you are going to try to build one yourself, let me know. Let me know how it turns out. Send me some pictures or some videos of it on Instagram, Dash Garage, and just let me check out what you guys are doing. But yeah, I kept it simple. Like I said, I thought about doing the whole cutout here and everything, but I was like, let's keep it simple. I will eventually throw a sub behind it, but nothing too crazy. But yeah, that's it for the trunk enclosure, and then I'll just go over a little bit of what I'm going to do next to the cars, or with the cars. So we'll start with the Monte. So next, I kind of want to get the interior all buttoned up. Hopefully get the dash back pretty soon. My sister has that. She's rewrapping it, or she's wrapping it. So we'll see how that looks when I get it back. And I actually just had my neighbor. He had another buddy in the neighborhood stop by, and he had the radio I was looking for. It's the dual with the floating screen in it, the 9-inch. So check that out a little bit, and I think I'm gonna go that route with the floating screen, single DIN floating screen for the radio. Still trying to decide what speakers I want to go with. So I'm gonna keep it simple. Probably do 3.5s up front in the dash, like it came stock, and then in the rear, I'm gonna do the 4x10 to 6x9 adapters and just run two 6x9s back here with one probably 10-inch sub. So just doing my homework, try to see what works together. I really don't know too much about the stereo stuff, but I do want a little bit of music in here. And then I was talking about building the center console. If I was going to do that, I was going to put the 6.5s in the center console, but I don't think I'm gonna go that route. I was pricing out the kick panels for the speakers in the kick panels, so I might go that route. I think they're about $100. They already come in black, so if it's off, I could repaint them or re-dye them, and I'll probably have 6.5s in the kick panels. So that's kind of what's next for the Monte. And then, well, before that, I'm gonna come up underneath and triple check for the drive shaft length and get the drive shaft made up. So that's the next major thing for the Monte, is the drive shaft. And once the drive shaft is done, definitely want to get the brakes all hooked up. So had a couple people ask me about the manual brake setup. It's just sitting there for now. You see the lines aren't hooked up or anything, so still have to go through and get that system, or get the brake lines cut and rebent, hooked up, bled, and get all that working. Because once I get the drive shaft in, I know I'm gonna want to get it or take it out around the block and see how it drives. But you guys can't see it anymore, but we just had a little bit of snow, so if I get it out in between, like a day like this with no snow out, after the drive shaft and the brakes get hooked up, I'll probably take it out, see what it does. But yeah, springtime, this thing's definitely going to be out on the road. So yeah, over the winter I'll go through, and I know when I installed the suspension and everything, I'll still have to go back in and tighten everything down now that some weight's in the car. So I'll do that one of these days. But yeah, that's pretty much it with the Monte. Of course, the quarter window bezel, but he still has that. I think he's done with it. He sent me a picture of the valve covers he's doing. So the window trim should be pretty soon. So then I could tint the windows and get all that installed again. And then I'm not worried about it, but like the trim pieces, the window sweeps, all the seals and everything. But when I do that, I'm gonna order it for the Monte, and I might as well just order some for the Elko too, because it needs it. It needs a lot of work, but the Elko, yeah, I cut a lot of corners when I built this, so kind of want to go back through and fix some things and then just give it a little bit different look. So major thing with the Elko, I have a posi rear end back here. So just watched Penny Ellis one video on the rear disc setup, so I wanted to do that before swapping out the rear ends in the Elko. So when I swap out the rear, I want to do the Blazer rear disc brakes, and then if I'm gonna do that, I might as well find another 2-wheel drive Blazer and do the front setup also. Right now it's just a power stop, drilled and slided rotors on there. I like them, you know, it's not putting down too much power, but if I'm gonna do the rear disc setup, might as well do the front from the same car. So I have to look out for another 2-wheel drive one in the junkyard. I had the video of me pulling the front spindles, front brakes, rear brakes. I ended up selling the front spindles and brake setup. I wasn't getting to them anytime soon. I figured let me sell those. I bought the Nikon with it, so it was a fair deal. But yeah, I might have to find another set of them here shortly when I do the rear end and the Elko. What's next with this? If I'm doing the rear end in this, I want to rewire it, so I'm thinking about ordering a wiring kit for this also. And since I did the painless on here, I'm thinking do the American Auto wire on here so I can compare the two and see if it's much of a if it's that much of a difference, or if they're pretty much the same, and the only thing that comes down to it is the price. I'll be able to compare the two, let you guys know what is what. But yeah, I definitely want to rewire this. I'm gonna try to get it done over the winter, and once it's rewired, I might update the interior also. Might get rid of or change the center console, and then new seats. I said these are nice, but I put them in there probably 5-6 years ago. That's new. Just notice that's chipping. But yeah, I put these in about 5 or 6 years ago and put on a few pounds since then, so they're a little tight in this section. But yeah, that's the plans with the Elko. Just rewire it, get the rear end swapped out, disc brakes all the way around, and update the interior. When I rewire it, I might clean up the engine bay in it. Like I said, there's wires everywhere, so yeah. But I know before I go in today, I'm gonna move this over. I didn't leave enough room, so pull this out after I clean it up a little bit, move the Elko over so I get the bike in, and once the drive shaft is in the Monte, I'm gonna lower it back on all four so I can really see the comparison of them side by side. But yeah, that's about it. Still working on the PT. Had that up and running the other day. Still haven't got it out driving yet. Buttoning up a few things, but PT is not going anywhere. It's the first car. I know some people hate them, but it's the first car. It's not going anywhere. But I did just end up, well, it was a while ago. I did the 2.4 liter turbo swap in it. I thought about releasing that series, but I don't think I will. But yeah, I'll definitely be on the channel once it's up and running. Might not get much love, but it's my baby. The Camaro, it's the Camaro. The Blazer's the Blazer, that's the daily. This is the summertime daily. Still working on getting a pickup. Just been striking out. Been finding some pop up here and there, but when you get to check them out in person, it's not the same. So, I know my uncle loves those creeks. Car's older than me, man. Give it a break. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just the plans I have over the winter on getting the cars together. Like I said, the bike's probably gonna be parked for a while. It's a little too cold. But yeah, I said, like I always say, if there's something I haven't done that you guys want to see me pay more attention to, when I get to it, just hit me up in the comments, or hit me up on Instagram on Dash's Garage. And when I get to it, I'll be sure to try to pay a little bit more attention to. And if there's something I've already done, there's videos on everything. Most of the stuff is in a playlist. If it's motor related, there's a playlist for that. Everything else with the Monte is pretty much blanketed under the Monte playlist. There's an Elko playlist and a Colorado G-Body playlist. But yeah, that's about it. It's enough of me rambling. Let me move the Elko over a little bit, get the bike back in, and call it a day.